Something like that?
Good deal.
Not a bad start.
Not a bad start.
All right. Good evening. Welcome to the Two Guys Show on the EdReach Network, episode 26 with the incomparable Leslie Fisher. As you notice, Drew is not here tonight. He is not feeling well. We wish him the best. So we have a co-host tonight, a friend of mine. I'd like to introduce you to Mark Osmond. Mark, why don't you say hi real quick, and then we'll introduce our guest.
Good evening, everyone. And first of all, I know that I've got big shoes to fill. Well, probably I don't, but the reality is I'm sitting in for Drew tonight. I wish him all the best in getting well soon, and look forward to chatting with you all.
Awesome. Well, thanks. It's great having you, Mark. So I'd like to introduce our guest. This is Leslie Fisher. Leslie, how are you tonight? It's good to see you.
I am great. How the heck are you?
Doing real well. And, we got a lot to talk about tonight, going back 2 years and then all the way up to FETC in Orlando. And then we're going to probably wrap up talking about why you're up here in Michigan at McCall. So Leslie, why don't you just give us like a 2-minute overview for our guests so they kind of know who you are and what you're all about.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Leslie Fisher. I am from Southern California. I am currently in Michigan. I'm here for the absolutely wonderful McCall Conference. There's some weird stuff going on outside my hotel room. It's like white, and it's all over the place, and I'm really confused by it. I don't seem to see that stuff often, but I'm sure I'll figure it out by Friday. Hi, what's it called?
Yeah, it's a lot of snow, Leslie. We're in for a big storm tonight. We've had tons of it, as we mentioned earlier.
Well, I'll mention later I made a deal with some of the McCall people, so I'll mention that deal. It'll be very exciting for them and painful for me. I specialize in keynoting and feature speaking at ed technology conferences. I get to travel the world doing this. I absolutely love it. I'm on the road over 200 days a year. Everything from large, 20+ thousand conferences to classrooms filled with teachers on a free day, and I'm very solution-based. I always say jokingly that there are those presenters that are like the grandma that will give you the warm feeling and make you inspired and make you want to go out and be this awesome, amazing teacher. And I'm for all of that, but I'm really solution-based. So I always like to think that I'm kind of like the ant with a Jolt Cola and a $20 bill. I just want to get you excited. I want to get you amped. I want to be the crazy one. I want to be the one that you go, that was a lot of fun, and on top of it, I have some great resources that I can take with me into the classroom.
Absolutely. That's pretty much sums it up in a nutshell, because, Leslie, I've sat in on quite a few of your sessions, and one of the things I love about it is even as much as I'm involved in technology, even down in Orlando just last month sitting in on one of your sessions, I came away with stuff I had never heard of that I'm already using, which is awesome. So love that area that you fill for everybody.
It's a major goal for me to make sure that the newbie that comes into the class that is really new with technology, all the way to the people like you that see me year after year, I want them to get content, and it's one of the reasons why I like to inject humor. Not only will it keep you paying attention, but in case you already know it, there's a good chance I'm going to make a joke that will probably make you laugh or give you a good example that even if you know it, you have a good example of how to use that tool you've been using for years.
Absolutely. So Leslie, actually, I want to jump onto something. When we were down in Florida, you told a story at one of your sessions, and it was the power of social media. I'll give you the story, and you can share it.
I think I know it. It's the
you were on the plane, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So can you share that story? It's absolutely phenomenal.
I'll try to give you the quick version of it. It was June 2013, and I was flying from Orange County to Wichita, Kansas, and via Denver. So I was in Denver, and we were getting ready to take off. We were an hour late, and I'm sitting in. If you're familiar with the Denver planes, the smaller planes for United are 1 seat, 2 seat, 1 seat, 2 seat. I'm in 1A. Sitting right across from me is the flight attendant, and he's looking at me. It's a very uncomfortable seat, 1A. And I'm sitting there like we could play footsies with each other. And the weather doesn't look that good. And I just kind of sitting there, and the plane stopped, and all of a sudden I can hear in the cockpit, because this is a small plane, so the cockpit, it's right there. There's one little skinny door, and all of a sudden I hear, tornado, 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 and I'm like, and the flight attendant is like this, trying to get the phone, but trying not to look conspicuous that he's heard these words, and so he gets the phone, and he goes, did I just hear tornado? And the pilot's like, yes, tornado, remain seated. So this was before we were allowed to play with our phones before the plane took off. I love how they tell us to put it in airplane mode. Seriously, who puts their phone in airplane mode? Let's just admit it now. We're Facebooking until we lose signal. Let's just all come out right now and feel more comfortable about ourselves. So I'm literally reaching my hand in my pocket to get my phone, and I turn the phone back on. And I have the Red Cross app because I'm a Californian, and so I don't know what tornadoes look like. I don't know any of that stuff, so I need a phone to tell me to take shelter. And sure enough, the minute I turned my phone back on, the Red Cross app had said, there's a tornado been spotted in your area, and I love this part. Please seek shelter immediately.
And you're sitting on a plane. Uh-oh.
I'm trying on Twitter. I can't. This thing is so new and fresh, it doesn't have an identity. So I go on Twitter and I go, guys, I'm in a plane in Denver and they're saying there's a tornado. Can you educate me? And so that's what I sent out to my Twitter followers. Meanwhile, the pilot gets on and goes, ladies and gentlemen, we have reports of a tornado. We're going to need you to remain in your seats because we're not need to sure if we're going to. Gonna need to what? And next thing you know, we're taking off. I took a photo. If you see me present, I have all the pictures of my presentation. There's the tornadoes literally out my left. We're like, ah! We didn't know if we're taking off. They basically take us to the Southwest terminal away from the tornado. We were delayed 4 or 5 hours because we ran out of gas and all this other stuff. But the whole time that this was happening, my friends were kicking into my social media. I had friends on Facebook, I had friends on Twitter, and they were taking pictures of their television screens. They were taking pictures of the airport. They were going and giving me websites and Twitter feeds for me. They were educating me. And I was the one that was walking around, showing the first couple rows my iPad and going, look at this, look at what this thing looks like. And my favorite line was the flight attendant comes up and goes, can you do me a favor? Can you get on the microphone and can you tell everyone what you know? And the snarky side of me kind of wanted to kick in and go, yeah, because I don't do that for a living. But I basically got on the mic and I said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very blessed to have a large amount of people that I get to partake with conversations with on social media. And one of the reasons I have this large group and one of the reasons I respect them so much is their education. Let me tell you everything I know. And I'll be more than happy to walk around with my iPad and show you all the photos that they're sharing with me. And they basically created for me a customized newspaper of all the content that they were getting, and they continued for hours to pump me that content. So even though I was on a plane, even though I didn't really have a lot of resources to be able to research things, they were putting it all together for me, the beauty of the personal learning network.
Absolutely. The power of a PLN is absolutely amazing, and seeing you in person, having those pictures of screenshots and pictures of the outside the plane from the window and stuff, it just goes to show you the power of social media. It's absolutely an incredible
Absolutely. The minute that someone says, and I'm going to guess most of our people that are with us as part of the show are tech savvy, but the minute someone says, I don't use Twitter because I don't like talking about what I had for lunch or being stuck on traffic, you're missing the power of Twitter. And I think I'm preaching to the choir with that. But I would not be the effective presenter that I am today without Twitter, period, without social media. It's in how you use it, and it's in who you use it with, basically can make you a better educator, better person, better parent, better whatever, honestly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so Leslie, tell us about your involvement in technology. What was your prior life in technology, and what excites you about technology?
Everything excites me about technology. It's always changing. I love that. It's always assisting. I just love that. I actually started my life as a music major, believe it or not. I was a music major. I didn't really want to be a musician for life. I didn't want to have to audition to make money. And I really fell in love with something called MIDI, which is Musical Instrument Digital Interface. And I started using computers to mix music. And I fell in love with it. I actually got a job as an Apple student representative on my local university campus. And from there, I was at Apple for 10 years as a senior systems engineer in K-12.
Ooh, nice.
I was let go in 97. And I didn't know what I was going to do. I was going to take a year off. And I actually went to a conference as an attendee that I used to present at for Apple. The presenter was sick. The conference coordinator was on stage. He was vamping. And then he sees me in the audience and goes, "What are you doing in the audience?" I go, "Oh, I got to brush up on web development." And he goes, "Oh, you could teach this class." And I thought he was joking, but no, literally. 10 minutes later, I'm on stage teaching the class. And that was 17 years ago. And from there, word got out. You know, a conference got in touch with me and said, "Could you present here?" Another conference got in touch with me. So technically, I guess I never looked for a job.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome. Mark, are you still there?
I'm here. I'm just taking it all in. I'm still thinking about the airplane. I thought that was hilarious. But Leslie, I got a question for you. You just talked about technology changing, and I'm in the technology field. I'm not an educator, but I'm getting more and more involved in understanding how the education world is relying on technology. So with technology always changing and you preaching to the choir, as you say, on a regular basis, how do you stay up and up to speed with everything that's changing in the technical world?
Oh, I just go to the Two Guys site and steal all their content.
Well done. Well done.
Sorry.
And it's 2.5. It's 2.5 guys.
There's a 20 in it for me if I kissed up like that. So.
Nice. Nice. I got your blocks in, by the way.
It's honestly, it's a little bit of everything. Once again, like I said before, if you're not using Twitter effectively, if you're not following the correct hashtags, you're missing out on a world of content. It's also my favorite app in terms of keeping current is Zeit, which just got sold to Flipboard, which I'm a little concerned about, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. So Zeit, if you're not familiar with Zeit, it's I think a must-use app because you don't get to choose who delivers the content, which I'm a big believer in because we really stick ourselves into little educational boxes. And Zeit, you basically say, I'm interested in education technology, and then they choose the sources of content that you get. And in that process, I'm learning, I'm discovering. The other thing, honestly, is my PLN. I've had people say to me, "Hey, Leslie, have you heard of the following?" And I don't have a poker face, which I guess is great for everyone but me playing poker. And I sit there and go, "Heck no, never heard of that." And so there's certain items, there's certain slides that it was an educator that came up to me and curiously asked if I knew of it. And it's a little bit of everything. I mean, technology, like anything else, it has to surround you. It has to surround you in everything you do, and that way I'm able to stay on top of it. And once you have these little pieces, once you have like the little Twitter component, the little Zeit component, the little component of the PLN, I never feel like I'm having to crazy immerse myself in learning unless I'm putting together a new class. It's one of the things, like, it's the equivalent of reading a morning newspaper for me, is me keeping current. It's because I kind of chop my teeth on learning the proper people to follow and the proper media to bring in as well.
Great.
Awesome. Zeit is a great place to go get content. Like, I go there. I have augmented reality I follow, EdTech, different things like that, and that's where it's such a nice place because as things start hitting online, it kind of culminates in there. You kind of see what's going on, and man, it's such a nice place. You can go there daily and get good information. There's just so much content that comes through there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And another thing I'm going to point out is there's an app called Flipboard, and I'm very, even though I said that we're all compartmentalized, I am a little bit in terms of my social media friend feed. And one thing I love about Flipboard, I'm not a fan of like looking at my friend's Facebook feed on Flipboard. I don't know why. I just don't prefer it. That's just me. But one of the things Flipboard does is it lets you search on a hashtag, and a lot of people don't realize that. If you go to the Flipboard app, you click on the upper right corner where the magnifying glass is, type in your EdChat, your EdApp, your AR hashtag, and then you're going to see everything in the form of a newspaper. So instead of looking at it on TweetDeck or in Twitter, you're looking at the entire story, and they're building that story based on how many retweets has it gotten, how many followers does that person have. And you're really getting this really rich, dynamic environment. Didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just thought it was worth mentioning there.
No, absolutely. It's interesting because, I have, Terry Eicholtz just said Flipboard, she loves it. So we're going to, hopefully Flipboard can do some good things with Zeit and not totally change it, because I know there's...
Yeah, I'm hoping the same thing. I'm hoping, I hope this doesn't come out the wrong way, but I'm hoping Flip learns more from Zeit than Zeit. Yeah, I'm hoping that Flipboard bought Zeit to say, what are they doing right? Not
Agreed.
To Flipboard, not whatsoever, because I understand the really visual gorgeousness of Flipboard. I just prefer Zeit for that, but I love Flipboard. If they add hashtag searching to Zeit, oh man, would I be a happy kid.
There you go. That might be what they have in mind. And
if they do, someone get in touch with Zeit and tell them right now. And Absolutely. If they do, we called it right now.
right here on the Two Guys Show. Well, for those of you who are just joining us on the Two Guys Show on the EdReach Network, giving educators a big voice, tonight I have a co-host of Mark Osmond and our guest Leslie Fisher. It's wonderful having you guys here tonight. It's weird because I got two people that I typically don't do the show with, so it's nice having both you guys here tonight, so thank you.
Oh. And Brad, Leslie just talked about visual gorgeousness, and that's not a segue to you. It's I got a question, because obviously she's talking about Michigan, right? And obviously the McCall conference is coming up this week. I'm starting to get up to speed with what McCall means, both for education and obviously for Michigan. So, Leslie, question for you. You're obviously here. When you're done digging out the rental car in the parking lot, you'll be making your way over to the conference. What can we? What do you expect to get out of McCall this year? And I guess most importantly, what are the people who are going to come and see you speak aim to get out of the conference?
Well, one thing I'll tell you is one of the things I tell McCall is work me hard, because there's other conferences that I might do one session or two sessions a day, and if every seat is full in my room and I'm only doing two sessions, I feel terrible. So I think almost all the sessions I'm going to be presenting. So I'm not going to get to see too much. But I do know we have some amazing people here. We have some amazing presenters here. McCall will bring in, I think, half a dozen featured speakers. So you have some of the people all across the world that are known as some of the best in ed tech here. It is easily one of my favorite conferences. The only reason I'm going to say not my absolute favorite is because the other conference tries to feed me alcohol, which I refuse every night. And it's in New Orleans, so it's more of the location. I mean, I love if you could take the people of the Mitten and then combine them with the crazy, freaky people that are the Cajuns, and then let's party in New Orleans, we would have the most absolute conference ever known to man. But in terms of an education standpoint, in terms of a content standpoint, I don't know if there's another conference around that gives this at a regional level. This is easily one of the best regional level conferences I know of, and you guys should be proud. In terms of what I'm presenting, I'm actually doing a class tomorrow. Brad's gonna be like, I'm doing a class tomorrow called Augment Your Reality. I'm playing in his sandbox, and I'm also class on mobile video and photo on your mobile device. Going to do a 1 hour of that as well, so both my sessions tomorrow are full. But I also am doing Twitter, power using Twitter. I'm doing a class on Google Glass. I'm a Glass Explorer. I do have that video and photo class. I'm doing a Smackdown, and I'm also doing Evernote. I'm a huge, huge, huge believer in Evernote. It's one of the things I also use to keep current, keep up to date. When I bump into that great website, I clip it on Evernote. Without Evernote, I don't think I'd be as effective in my tweeting. So those are some of the things. But man, this is a big conference with a lot of presenters. Take advantage of it. You got some great brain trusts here. So take advantage of it and enjoy it.
Fantastic. And Brad, I think you even have a little session of your own, don't you?
Yes, we do. Drew, thank you. Drew, Todd, and I have a session. We're doing game-changing apps. We're also sitting on the panel with Adam Bello and Tom Whitby, and with Drew, Todd, and I are going to be sitting on that panel. And I know Aaron and Nick have been invited. I don't know if they have sessions at that time, so we're going to be up there with Adam and those guys. And it's funny, Leslie, because it's kind of like this is a funny circle we have, because when we talked on the phone, I don't know, about a week or so ago, we talked about augmented reality and working on your session and stuff, and we kind of shared information, as far as your session tomorrow on augmented reality. I actually have the cubes for you, which you're going to be using when I get there tomorrow. And the funny thing is augmented reality, 2 years ago at McCall, and I told you this on the phone the other day.
Makes me happy.
You were the one who I saw augmented reality for the very first time. I was sitting in your session in McCall 2 years ago in Grand Rapids, and I was just like, what? And the thing is you show a lot of great stuff. You don't spend a lot of time on any of them, but you have so much great stuff. I remember sitting there, because the two things I remember was movie effects, because the movie effects that you showed on your phone, and then the thing was the dollar bill trick. And I remember just like, I think my brain fell out of my head. And I was like, what? What was that? I don't even know what that was. And, here we are a couple years later, and now we're running into each other, different parts of the country, just sharing the power of ed tech and augmented reality and social media and everything.
And yeah, and you're absolutely right. And when you told me that story, I mean, I said this before at a conference I was at last week, that educators are my fuel. I never had the guts to be an educator. Parenting and education were two things that just scared the, pardon my language, crap out of me. And I feel like my job is a cop-out. I really feel like I'm a cop-out, but what a wonderful cop-out it is, because I get to help educate the people that have the guts to be the true educator. And when that true educator comes up to me and says something like you just said. I had an educator a few years ago say she was thinking of retiring. She went to my Twitter class. She learned how to use Twitter to look for educational resources and went in that Monday and completely taught a different class than she was planning to. And she hopes she never retires anytime soon. She had me sobbing, at the People Mover in Detroit, and that's my fuel. I mean, that I love to hear that, and it makes this little gutless wonder. It makes this gutless wonder feel really good. So thank you for that. In terms of augmented reality, look, I mean, 2 years ago it was simply Aurisma or Aurasma or whatever the heck you want to call it, and that's really what it was. And we could apply some great ideas. I think it's the best AR app to use with elementary, especially. It's the easiest way to make an augmented reality. But now I look 2 years down the line, and I now can do easily a full-day workshop if I wanted to with all the augmented reality apps out there. And I mentioned this in the lobby of the hotel. I have never worked harder in putting together a 3-hour workshop. I've been working on it for a few weeks, and I've never been so excited to basically deliver a workshop, because the more that I dug into augmented reality and the more that I saw all the places where it's permeated, the more I realized what great potential it has for everything from our distant learners, our special ed learners, our visual learners. There are so many places that it helps out in the classroom, and I always like to call back to the non-classroom, because we do have life outside of the classroom, and augmented reality can do so much for us simply at home, when we travel, on the road, and it's awesome. There's really some great things going on in that space right now.
So
Absolutely.
Leslie, let me jump in here. So sorry, Brad, I'm going to do the Drew. That's the best view I've ever seen of your room there. So Leslie, as a 20-year technologist, I'm somewhat embarrassed to say that I'm only coming up to speed with AR now.
Thank you.
I mean, that's the reality of it. We don't, at least in my experience in the technology industry, hasn't come across AR very much at all. So what do you think the industry needs to give back to AR in helping you re-educate others in what can be done with this vision, if you will, of AR? Because I simply think it could be phenomenal, right?
Yeah, AR could, there's so many. I'm going to show an app tomorrow. It's by Audi. That how many times have you got a new car, your car is acted up, and you open up your manual, your car manual, and you're like on page 300 trying to figure out the part. What does this thing do? What does this hickey do? Well, the app, you simply put your phone up, you run the app, you point it at something, and it tells you in a video and text what that thing does. And you can then pop the hood, and if you need to change the oil, you put it right over, and it says, okay, step 1 to change the oil. I mean, there's just so many things, and you're right, it's a lack of education, but think about it. How do you go, let me back up. I don't think you educate people about augmented reality. I think you educate them about the solutions that involve augmented reality. So it is the book that turns into a pop-up book. It is the ad that gives you extra content. I think maybe calling it augmented reality is not troublesome. It's maybe not the best approach for all of us, because the end consumer doesn't say augmented reality. The end consumer says, I'm running this app and I'm getting additional content, visual content from it. And I think I think AR is going to stumble on itself for a little bit until it permeates so much in the market that no one's calling it augmented reality. They're simply calling it whatever the heck they decide that they want to call it.
Yep. Exactly, and you kind of alluded to this a few minutes ago, Leslie. And those of you who are watching, if you want to join the conversation, we see you on Twitter right now. Use the hashtag #2GuysShow. Chat with us. Let us know what questions you have for Leslie and for us, and give us some feedback on what you're hearing. But what I was saying, Leslie, you mentioned this a minute ago, was about 2 years ago it was Aurasma, and I think both Mark and I are wearing our Aurasma shirts right now. Well, now there's a lot of different companies. There's a lot of different platforms that you can create now. There's Layer, there's Aurasma, there's Daiquiri and stuff. So we're going to be talking about this in our workshop as well. I think we're now at the second level, that next level of augmented reality, because you know what? It's been the dollar bill trick and the just making your own aura. That's great. It's a lot of interaction, gets people on board. It's not too difficult. But now we're seeing, like some of the stuff PBS Kids is doing, with Shape Quest and Fetch Lunch Rush and stuff. It's really taken to another level. Not to mention like all the professional industries, like the automotive industry. You just talked about Audi. We've seen Ford. We've seen a lot of these companies specializing on Mercedes-Benz, doing some great things with augmented reality. But just yesterday, today's Tuesday, just yesterday, Aurasma announced a big release, redoing their whole platform, and Daiquiri is just coming out with something as well. They're in beta version. So Leslie, tell me what you think about this. My view is that in the not so distant future, we're going to have something like an AR browser. You know how we just open up our web browsers? I think that phones, hopefully we'll get to one standard. Instead of like running on specific scanned apps or something, maybe we'll have a common browser that everybody's coding for. And just like opening online, you just open your camera browser basically, and boom, then everything around you is being coded on a specific platform.
Yeah, and I think we're going to be a long way out, because what I think's happening right now is everyone's trying to say my AR is better than your AR, and I mean we already have, is it called Journario or something, which is kind of building itself as an augmented reality browser that tries to do some of the AR, but you're absolutely right, and once again, the end user shouldn't have to know that. The end user shouldn't have to worry about all these different browsers, and I do think that's going to stop AR for a while. And that's why I don't know if you've seen the Guinness Book of World Records 2014.
Yep.
What a beautifully done book for augmented reality. You want to see the size of the world's smallest woman? You run the AR app, and it will give you a size in your room of how tall she is. And the person with that book probably doesn't know it's augmented reality. And
right. You don't need to. Right.
Yeah, and they don't need to, and we need to get there. And it's just the newness of AR. But I do hope that we get to a point where there's kind of one browser that's that jumping off point to get that additional content. We have it, but everyone's kind of fighting with each other. But I think the more that, especially now, that we can make this solution-based, like the Autonomy 4Ds of the world, the Elements 4Ds of the world, the books of the world. I think that's going to be great, especially for our educators.
Absolutely, that's awesome. All right, well, Leslie, let's start wrapping this up before we get to our exciting shout-outs in our playlist. One thing that I do know about you is that you're a golfer. Am I correct?
Yes,
right,
and I don't toot my horn often, but I'm actually a pretty good golfer. When I left Apple, the reason I was going to take a year off is I was actually going to think about turning pro.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, so outside of golf, what do you like to do when you're not traveling all over the world?
There's more than golf?
Well, maybe not. I don't know. I know there's golf and maybe a nice wine cellar.
Yeah. The big three, like I said, educators are my fuel, and I learned that I had 6 weeks off. I've never had that much time off, and I literally was pulling my hair out, and it was because I missed my educators. But the base of my foundation is I love to obviously be with people. I love to golf. Golf is my kind of like my own time. I do collect wine. I have a wine cellar at my house, and I'm part of a very large, almost worldwide wine group that anytime I travel, there's people that I've met before that I get to drink wine with. And I also am, probably I think my most important role right now is to be a good daughter. I have a mom that I can't begin to tell you how much I adore. I have a dad that's had a couple bad years, and so when I'm home, if I'm not seeing them at least once a week, if I'm not looking out for them, if I'm not heading over there and doing my honey-do list, they're my world, and a lot of what I do for them to hope that as they continue down the path that they don't have to worry for anything. So that really is my number one important thing is to be a good. I call myself their snotty kid, but yeah, I love to golf. Michigan by the way.
Uh-oh. I lost your audio. Uh-oh. Can you hear her, Mark?
I think I know where she was going, so I might have
I
to.
packed
Oh,
the
here we go.
clubs.
There
I
you
pack
go.
the clubs, and I pack the clubs, and I, like, for example, Indiana. I'm going to be in Indiana a lot this summer, and there's a bunch of times where I have 2 days, so I'm just like, heck, I'm not flying home. I'm going to go golfing for 2 days. And so once the weather changes, I try to pack the clubs to almost any place I go to, and I try to discover the great golf courses there.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. All right, well, let's go ahead and move on to the PLN shout out, the Twitter PLN shout out. Leslie, why don't you go first and just give a shout out to anybody in your PLN and give them a quick shout out.
This is where I'm gonna do a confession, and it's, if you ask me, the thing that I feel most guilty of is the fact that on my Twitter I only have 29 followers. And I have 2 different Twitter accounts. I have Leslie Fisher and I have Leslie Golf. And the reason I only have 29 followers on Twitter is when I teach Twitter, if I was following all the people I wanted to follow and they were talking about donuts and being stuck in traffic, the person that was watching my Twitter workshop would go, "This is why I'm not on Twitter." So I have a Leslie Golf account. I follow everyone that follows me there, and I'll try to go there. But when I go, I don't look. I would like to look for a specific person, but personally in my professional area it's tough, so I'm all about the hashtags. If you're not looking at EdChat, if you're not looking at EdApp, if you are not participating in the conversations that happen, if you're not discovering what local hashtags are available for the topics you teach or the state that you live in, that to me is how you build the foundation of your PLN, and you build out your PLN from there. It is, I can't stress how important it is to get on those hashtags and to find out what hashtags are low. If you don't know, tweet me, send me a tweet. I'll send you the links, because it should be number one, who, what, and where. Make sure you're following the right hashtags.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hashtags are amazing. You can follow EdTech chats. You can find a chat for basically anything you're looking for.
There's like 300 educational chats. If you can't find an educational chat that doesn't make sense for you, guess what? You now own it. Make it, host
That's
it,
right.
Become awesome.
That's right. You heard it right there. If it doesn't exist, create it.
Make it. Exist. Create it.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right, Mark, so why don't you jump in on the shout-outs?
So I'm going to go a little bit left field on my shout-outs this week. Like I'm here every week, right? But certainly,
exactly.
But I'm going to start off with a little shout-out for the Pantene brand here, because I remember last week, obviously you enlightened us with your use of hair products, and I just wanted to I want to give this back to you, because I kind of borrowed it from your soccer bag this week. So that's Pantene. I'm going to go a little civil here. I want to do a shout-out. Something that's touched my heart in the last few days is obviously the loss of that Malaysian airliner in the South China Sea, and I'd like to condone certainly thoughts and concerns to all of the family and friends that are waiting for closure on that episode, which is certainly something that's very serious and sad. I also want a big shout-out to Justin Bieber this week for not doing anything stupid. And
he did. Didn't you see his deposition?
Did he do it again? Come on.
You gotta, if you want to feel, God, I don't want to get in trouble, but you should just watch his deposition. He had a 4-hour deposition, and they put it on. I'll make no comment.
See, I thought that was last week, so I was going to just be thankful for the 2 days we've had so far, that my inbox isn't filled with junk. And then I'm going to go again left field, and I want to thank Brad Wade and Drew Minark for all of the wonderful things they're doing on this show. I've become a believer through this. I totally made that up. I actually have another one on the list. But no, I think you guys are doing a great job. You're bringing great guests to the show. And Leslie, I actually have a confession. When I first heard the voicemail from Brad this afternoon saying that he had Carrie Fisher on the show, I was really excited. And then I realized that I had to listen to it again because I think he was out in the wind, and it's actually Leslie. So no disrespect, I think you've been far better than Carrie could have been. So that's my my shout out. One quick shout out. There's a few folks from my local school where my children go to school, Holy Family here in the Rochester area. We're starting to embrace technology now as an education institution, and we've got some folks going up to the McCall event, and hopefully they're going to interact with you folks and learn some great new things. Looking forward to expanding some horizons there. So thank you.
Awesome. Okay. All right. So I actually, unless I might end up making more than 3, you know, I mean, you know, that's what I do. But here we go. Here comes the shout-outs. All right. So first one, this one's long overdue. This is an Instagram shout-out, and so this is crazy because, like, in my household, some crazy things are happening, you know, with all this stuff going on with me. And Leslie, I don't know if you know, actually this happened while we were down at FETC. My oldest son, Keegan, he's 17. He is now the permanent co-host on Edu All-Stars with Todd Nesbitt and Kessler, Chris Kessler. So I did a shout out to him, and then my other son, he is becoming quite something on Instagram. You can follow him as Amazing Car 365. What he does is he posts pictures of, you know, cars like Lamborghinis and Ferraris and stuff. And it started out when he got 20 likes. He just started this like 4 weeks ago. When he got 20 likes, he would post a new picture. Well, he's over 500 followers on Instagram now in less than a month. And now he has to do something like 45 or 60 likes before he posts another car. But it's going crazy. So it's kind of neat to see that happen and see how that progresses in the house. So Amazing Car 365. That's Evan, one of my kids.
Yay, Evan!
Yeah, so that was very cool. And then I got two teachers to shout out. Kelly out in Hidden Springs, Idaho. I was helping her and her kids today with Aurasma and augmented reality. You can find her at Kelly, Kelley, 123063, December 30th, 63, I believe. So shout out to her and her kids. That was cool. She was having some hard times figuring out Aurasma, so just got on a Google Hangout with them, with her class, and we created some, and so she's getting some stuff prepared for tomorrow night. So big shout out to Kelly and her class. Nice job. Good stuff. Next is Maggie Bellato. She is from Resaca Middle School in Texas, and this was cool because she messaged me on Twitter, and we were talking the other night about technology, and she had a grant, and she was trying to figure out how to appropriate the funds for that grant. And then we were talking, and I was asking about her school, and here's something really fascinating. I tweeted this out on Sunday night, I believe. Her kids from her school, they won the Verizon Innovative App Challenge, the best in the nation from Verizon. So big props to them and their school. You can follow her at Miss Bellato, MRSBOLADO. So huge shout outs to her and her staff, principal, associate principal, and all the teachers watching, all the kids. Big shout outs to them. Congratulations on your Best in Nation App Challenge. Well done. So those are my shout outs tonight, and of course shout outs to everyone who's watching the show tonight. I see you on the Twitter feed. We've got Laura, we've got Craig, he just joined us. Nice. I see Kelly's there. Terry Eichholtz is there. Let's see, Ryan, nice job, Ryan, I see you, and Steven, and so on. A lot of people out there in the Twitter world chatting us up tonight. So that's it for the PLNs. Now, to get to the most exciting. Now, Leslie, this really does have kind of a funny cult following. The most popular segment of the show, no disrespect ever to any guest, but it's the playlist. Everybody wants to know what everybody's listening to. So we get the most requests and the most comments in the Twitter world about this. So, Leslie, why don't you start? We've had everything from songs to artists to albums to TV shows. So you know the drill. So give us kind of what you're listening to or what's going on with you right now.
All right. Well, I'll try to make it quick, and I'm gonna say one thing. I'm gonna give the audience a slight tease that I'm hoping in the next few days to make an announcement about I'm going to be hopefully working really closely with a company that the more I discovered about, the more I was getting excited to possibly be helping them out. So I might be making that announcement this week. I might be making it next week. And it reminds me of when I got into digital photography. And I was so excited because I always like to take something that's complex and make it easy to understand. And so I'm hoping, I'm going to tease you guys with that, because the more I'm digging into this, the more I'm liking it. So there's my tease. I'm going to set it up as a given that you guys know I watch family modern cartoons, adult cartoons, as well as any cooking competition show, but I don't cook. So we're going to put those out. Those are givens. In terms of what's on my playlist, I can't get that damn Capital City Safe and Sound song out of my head.
Yeah, Safe and Sound, very good.
Safe and Sound, can't get that out of my head. There's a Matt Nathanson song called Run, which
love it.
She teams up with Jennifer Nettles from Sugarland.
Yep.
Which I absolutely love. If you want a good feel-good video, I'm going to give you 2 good feel-good videos. One of them is, you'll probably see it if you're at McCall, is Kristen Chenoweth brought up a audience member when she was at the Hollywood Bowl, and she brought up Sarah Horn, who is a high school choir teacher, and they sang the song For Good together, and usually when that happens, the person in the audience is nervous and the song sucks. Sarah Horn smacked it out of the park, and Kristen Chenoweth lost it on stage. She just couldn't believe how awesome it was, and someone took 6 different videos that people were using to record with their phones and turned it into one video. And if you want to feel good about how awesome educators are, watch that video, because even Kristen Chenoweth at the end says it's an awesome thing. And last but not least, Farrell, whatever the heck he calls himself, the guy with the awesome hat that Arby's wants back. He has an excellent song out called Happy. If you watch the Oscars, you saw him do a really good, real fun. It's fun, clean music, and I really like that. But you probably don't know about the video called 24 Hours of Happy. And he did a 24-hour video in 3 8-hour chunks all over Los Angeles, where he sent the song to over 400 people. They all auditioned. And the video guy walked backwards while someone sang and danced to the song, and basically lip-synced over the version. So you can log on to 24 Hours of Happy, 24 hours a day, and you can see exactly what was happening that moment in time when someone was singing the happy song. And I've seen everything from boxers who box the entire thing, 3 little old ladies who pick on each other. I've seen just the craziest... You can't sleep, you go to 24 Hours of Happy, you're going to get a good laugh. And it's a really, really fun video. And it's also great if you teach video in your classroom, you should look up the making of 24 Hours of Happy, because it really goes into all of the logistics that they had to do to basically record all through Los Angeles with only one video camera and one light. So there they are.
Awesome. Great recommendation. We'll have to check that out. All right, Mark, what's on your playlist?
So Brad, quick question. A housekeeping note. Are you going to do 12 songs tonight, or just you're going to keep it down below double digits?
I'm not sure. I got my iPad open here. I got my playlist I'm looking at. I have no idea.
Because I was happy to take one. I was going to take one for the team, and I can just cut mine down if that would help you. Just spirit of partnership.
You know how it goes. Go ahead and do what you want.
I was also going to choose Pharrell Williams and Happy, because it did actually, it's been a moving song for me. I was going to use the 60 Minutes of Happy example in the Two Guys show rather than 24 Hours. So, again, I'm just giving you some free plugs here, brother.
I love it. Thanks.
Again, my topic has been left field tonight, so I'm going to go a little bit out there. I've got a French song that I can't get out of my mind.
Is it the theme from the hair wash thing, the shampoo?
There's this girl in the Pantene commercial. Actually, you know what? It's funny, Brad. I was in Kroger yesterday when I picked up the bigger version of this. I got my AR app out, and your face popped up when I looked at this Pantene bottle. It's incredible what augmented reality can do. Anyway, Moi Lolita is the name of the song by Alizé. And obviously I'll tweet that out later because it's a tough one, and I don't expect you to remember that, Brad. I had Happy by Pharrell Williams, and then I've got my all-time must-have on the playlist, which is Dreams by Gabrielle, a British artist from yesteryear. But it's a song that makes me smile, and the kids upstairs who are listening have probably got it playing right now. They love to listen to that song as well with me, and it's just a good, happy song. So that's my playlist. I've been very generous in giving you more airtime, Brad.
Awesome. Well, thanks. I appreciate you deferring time to me, Mark. That's much appreciated.
You're very welcome.
Okay. This is a song I mentioned. Well, most of the songs I mentioned before. There's a song that was on 20 on 20 on the satellite. It's been moved over to Hits 1 now. It's called. The band is No No No, but the song is called Pumpin' Blood. And I don't know, it's a fun tune. It talks about getting a big rush and you know how your heart swells up when you're excited and stuff like that, and now you just get that rush in your body. So it's called Pumping Blood by No No No. Another one I'm going to shout out is A Million Lives by Jake Miller. Haven't listened to that in a while, but it's got a great message. It's about
A Million Lives has a great message. Did you just catch that sentence?
Well, okay, so he's reaching 1 million lives is what it is.
I know, it's just as great. I always like, you know, I just, when you said that, it's called A Million Lives. It's preaching a great message.
No. Lives with a V.
Oh, I thought it was lives. Did anyone else hear lives? Please tell me someone else heard lives.
Yeah, well, probably. I don't speak very clearly sometimes. 1 million lives. So Jake Miller he's helping. It's really cool because in the story, I love storytelling. In the story, he talks about 3 kids in school basically and how his music has touched these kids. And then at the very end, the last story that you hear about is his life and how he was touched by someone. And it's really cool. So please, someone shout out Jake Miller, 1 million lives. That's great. And then let's see. I want to go with L.A. Story by Sammy Adams and Mike Posner. Mike Posner, I think Mark might have a tie to Mike Posner. If somebody has a tie to Mike Posner, I know he's coming to Michigan in April. We'd like to touch base with him on some things we're working on. So L.A. Story by Sammy Adams and Mike Posner. It's a really good song. I love it. And then always a shout out to Project Dirty, Rhett, and Micah. I know Paul's probably asking if we've talked about them yet. So Skywalker and all the songs on their new album called Blue Fire. So there you go.
Let me jump in, Brad. Mike Posner, actually a Detroit native. He's now seeing the fair sun of our dear California state, but he's coming back, as you said, shortly, and hoping to do some things with him. Will be really interesting. And of course, I left the PD shout out to you, of course, because I know it's usually the first thing you like to get out there within the first 10 minutes of the show. So, but again, I also want to share my enthusiasm for Project Dirty and all they're doing in the music world. It's truly fantastic.
Absolutely. So we're working on getting those guys to Detroit, a great band out of L.A. They're going to be just topping the charts, and they have some great music out there, so shout-outs to them. So, all right, so Leslie and Mark, so is there anything that we've missed tonight before we wrap things up?
Have we missed Drew?
Who?
Yes, I dearly miss Drew.
I do too.
Listen, speaking of kissing up, I just want to say, first of all, to all the educators out there, thank you. I just hope you realize just how it's just such a awesome thing that you guys do. Like I said, I never had the guts to be one of you, and I consider it an honor and a total pleasure that I get to spend I don't even call it my work life. It's just an honor and a pleasure to be able to help you with your classroom pursuits. And I thank you guys for doing that for them as well, because we're all in this together. So thank you guys.
Absolutely. So, all right, so before we go, all right, so Leslie, why don't you give us your contact information, how people can find you, talk to you, follow you, whatever.
Sure. My Twitter handle is my name, @LeslieFisher. Please feel free to friend me up there. I try not to overtweet. I try to be a good kid. My website is lesliefisher.com. On there you can find all my presentation handouts. You feel free to friend me up on Facebook. If you go to my Leslie Fisher page, the bottom right corner are all of my social media links. And if you see me present and you like what you heard, even on the front page of my website, I have a link to a testimonial area where I welcome you to put up a testimonial and say good things, and I would appreciate that, because I'm lucky, I don't advertise. I've never had to call a conference and go, hey, need a presenter? All of my work has been because they've seen me present or someone saw me present and contacted the conference and said, you need to look at that person. So please, I thank you for that, and I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Well, wonderful having you with us tonight. We will see you tomorrow.
I'm looking forward to it. Are you going to come? Are you going to sneak into class?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Awesome.
And So I've got your cubes.
Thank you.
So when I see you, I will bring them to you, and you can you get to keep this pair. And
thank you.
I'll give you the big boys to share as well.
And I've sat there. It's so cute because every time I get to a new city, I actually have to cut and fold and glue, and every time because the blocks don't travel. So thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so Mark, why don't you tell everybody? Actually, tell us what you're into real quick, like where how you're in technology, and then how they can get a hold of you as well.
Well, so I am I'm not an educator, as I said earlier in the show, but I'm vividly fascinated by what you guys are doing in the education world, and certainly how technology and education is marrying together. Because as an avid parent, I'm very interested in how things are going forward for the youth of today. So you can find me at MH Osmond on Twitter. I'm relatively new to the Twitter world, and like I said a little bit earlier, it's somewhat embarrassing and ashamed that as an avid campaigner in the technology space, I didn't embrace technology. I didn't buy my 10,000 followers like Brad did, but I'm very proud of the 232.
I hacked into his account and I stole it.
I'm very proud of my 232, of which I know probably 7 of them, which is wonderful.
They're all like children.
Absolutely, yeah, right, exactly. But Brad taught me about Twitter actually a couple of months ago, and showed me the power of the network and what things are doing. Some really interesting opportunities are opening up for me. Hair sponsorship and things like that, which is truly what we all aspire to get out of everything these days on our networks. But I'm again, let me just a quick thank you to Drew and to Brad for having me on the show. Drew, get well soon. I certainly hope that I did you proud tonight. And again, Leslie, it was a pleasure to meet you as well. And thank you for everything you're doing. And good luck at the conference this week. And I hope you got your shovel with you.
Well, hold on. I forgot to mention the thing. I said jokingly, because everyone knows I'm from California, and I told the McCall people that if it snowed more than 5 inches on Wednesday, that I was going to sit outside and run Google Glass, and they could throw snowballs at me. So
it might happen.
Might happen. So I'm a little scared, but you got it. When you say you're going to do it, you got to do it.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we'll start to wrap things up for the EdReach Network on the Two Guys Show, episode 26, on this March 11th. Is it March 11th? It is March 11th. Episode 26 with Leslie Fisher. Thank you to the EdReach Network for giving educators a big voice and allowing us to have this space to bring awesome people in like Leslie and Mark to share with all the educators and the early adopters and all the technology, so we can do a +1 and share with others in our educational world and truly make an impact in education and start to transform things. You can find me on Twitter at TechBradWade. Go ahead and follow me. I'll follow you back. Couple cool things that happened. We were just announced and we were just added to Miami Device down in Miami in November, so that was released today. So we'll be joining the featured speakers down there. I know Kevin Honeycutt's down there, Todd Neslony, Aaron Klein, a lot of amazing people. So we're honored to be added to that venue and be down there. Big shout out to Felix Giacomino. He runs that conference. He's a great guy. You can find him on Twitter as well. Yeah, great. So it was nice chatting with him and getting all that set up. If you are looking for Drew and I at all, you can find us on twoguysomeIPads.com. You can also find us up on best-keynote.com. And Leslie, I don't know if you knew, I don't know, maybe you knew this. Our pictures are right next to each other on Best Keynote. I don't know if you've been there in a while.
Check that out.
No, go look.
I met the keynote. I met the Best Keynote quote unquote handler, the scheduler last week. She's a doll baby. So.
She
was great.
Yeah.
Brenda.
Brenda, yeah.
I know that boy. If she's watching, I'm like, I knew that name. I didn't. Not at all.
Yeah, Brenda Drucker. She's awesome. She takes care of Kevin, which he needs, which is good. So.
Yes. I don't want to make the show go longer, but. I think Kevin with this. I sat down next to Kevin and I said, "So I met your handler," and he goes, "Yes." I go, "Don't take this the wrong way." Yes. I go, "You make more sense now." And he's just busted, and he's like, "You're right." And Kevin's like, "Oh gosh, no, I have no problem admitting it." And she's amazing. So.
Yeah. So Kevin's a great guy, good friend of the show, good friend of ours as well. So check us out on.
He's awesome. He's awesome, but he'll be the first to tell you that he doesn't know where he needs to be or what he needs to do, but that's what makes Kevin Kevin, and she is amazing at that.
Yep, it's absolutely great. So you can check us all out at keynote.com. And yes, if you go there and see I'm actually right next to you, Leslie. It's great. We got moved up there, and we're part of that family, and we enjoy everything that Best Keynote and ASDAC has been doing for us. So, all right, so want to sign out, say thank you to everyone. Thank you to Leslie. Thank you to Mark for joining us tonight on the EdReach Network, giving educators a big voice. And so, Leslie, we will see you tomorrow. Don't be a stranger. I think maybe we have dinner planned. I'm not sure, so we'll see.
Hey.
Remind me when you have a chance, okay?
Okay, sounds good. All right, thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Mark. Thanks for joining us, everybody, tonight on the show.
Thank
Stay
you.
connected, my friends.
Take care. Thank you.